It is always fun to be here, and good evening to everybody out there, and welcome to our guest this evening, Kely Braswell of AccessCare, who's going to share with us some great information, some feedback, his knowledge and expertise about optimizing home care systems. Welcome, Kely.
Thank you, Yvette. I'm very happy to be here, and hopefully we'll have plenty of things to add and help with. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem at all. As I was saying to you earlier on, Kely, is that, my staff said, oh, he's such a nice guy. so every time I talk to you, I've just got this smile on my face. It's like, he's such a nice guy. Well, so it's great to have you here, Kely. So Kely, been with AccessCare some time now in the position of sales executive, right? And we know that systems and home care is a match made in heaven. There's thousands of systems, well, not thousands, but there's a lot of systems out there on the market right now. And we all know that automating our practices is key. So how has that changed over the years in terms of systems in our home care setting?
Well, I think a lot of the changes have just been becoming even more streamlined and, bringing everything together into one place, Yvette, is a really important part of automating your system, so that you're not just managing 15 different saucers in the air that you're spinning at the same time, but you're able to stretch your time, able to stretch your energy, able to just make yourself maximized in what you can cover by bringing everything together into one place.
Into one place, right?
A lot of flexibility, really a system, and AccessCare is a system like this, but where you have to have a lot of flexibility in what you're able to do, and you want it to be as easy to use as possible.
As possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with the title being, optimizing home care systems, Kely, what are your thoughts on the best way to optimize using a home care system? What are the best ways to do that?
Well, I think, being able to come all the way from capturing your applications from caregivers, being able to post a link that they can click on and then apply in your system, all the way to getting the caregivers and clients' profiles and HR profiles all in one place, scheduling them together, doing all of that in one place, and then that scheduling itself flowing into a mobile app on a smartphone, so that caregivers can very simply follow what they're told to do or what they're assigned to do that day, to signify that they've done their ADLs on that mobile
right
app. And then all of that captured by the system to calculate your payroll for you and to calculate your billing for you. So you're not having to sit there late at night with those papers and pens and pencil leads breaking and all of those kind of things.
Oh, you've been watching me, clearly. You've been watching me in my home care days.
You're not having to add up all of those numbers, but someone has added up your payroll for you and told you,
right,
here's the number, this is what you pay for this 2 weeks. Now get that into the hands of whoever's going to figure out your taxes and pay your caregivers. And it just saves so much time. It just optimizes you as a human being.
So let's wrap this up and just say in this one question to you. Tell us about AccessCare. Here is your stage.
Okay. Well, AccessCare, the nice thing about AccessCare is it was started by two guys who owned about 10 agencies, and they were using a software. We will not say any names, but they were using a software that they found to be very inflexible and not very easy to use. And it didn't think intuitively like a home care agency or like a home care agency owner or scheduler or administrator has to think. And so they actually, about 11 years ago, took a group of computer developers, sat down with them and said, we want to develop a new software that is easy and it is flexible, easy to use and flexible, and we want it to think like a home care agency thinks, and in those workflows. All right, and so that's how AccessCare was created, and since then has been just customized more, made more flexible, easy to use. And when you actually see a demo of AccessCare, or when you use AccessCare, you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see that it's nice and flexible to use. You can customize a lot of the preferences to fit your company, even down to the mobile app. Your caregivers, when they open it, they'll be able to see your background colors of choice. They'll be able to see your.
But in terms of the functionalities, what are the key features for our owners to really look out for when they are, looking for that right system for them?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of the most important things is the way that your caregivers are going to interact with the care plan, and then be able to give you the outcomes that you want from that care plan. Now, sometimes a care plan can be big with lots of items and very confusing, and you're wondering, okay, it's Tuesday. Where do I find out what I'm supposed to do on Tuesday here? And with a good mobile app, AccessCare is a good one. The mobile app picks up from the care plan in the system only the ADLs that need to be done that day, and so the caregivers are able to just follow along with the ADLs that are there in front of them. They can look at their schedule. They can pick up open shifts. They can take notation easily, either using speech to text or typing on their phone. They can look at the care plan. They can look at forms. They can look at assessment forms, things like that. But just a mobile app that is easy to use and not overwhelming, so that you just very directly can finish your visit, give dignity and value to that client that you're visiting with, and not spend all of your time having to function with a care plan, but being able to spend your time with the client, so that the client is feeling the dignity and the value that you're giving them while they're aging or they are rehabilitating in their own home. So that's one big piece is that mobile app.
Totally get you. Now, and the mobile app part, so in my mind, I think that I want to have my caregiver there in the home, to dial in, to call in, because I don't want her, 2 miles down the street and the beacon picks it up and she still pops in. But between the 2 miles in the front door and getting into the house, she's on the phone, she's talking to her boyfriend, she's talking to her husband, she's talking to the girlfriend. And actually, she didn't punch in at 10 o'clock. She actually punched in at 10:30, right? Or she actually got there at 10:30. So I'm one of those owners who's like, no, you've got to be in the house.
Exactly. And a good mobile app is going to have geofencing, so that the satellites read where that phone is, and it's going to require the caregiver to be on site to clock in and clock out.
To clock in, right. And this is all part of the whole optimization. Let's use it. Let's use it to the full capacity that it can.
Exactly. And so if you set your windows around the clock in and the clock out time, your caregiver can't clock in early from home if they wake up late, or maybe clock in from Burger King if they're having a burger on the way to work. They cannot clock in until they're in their clock in window and also in the correct space to be able to clock in.
Okay, so we've got this like second level authentication.
Yeah.
Right area, right space, right time, right?
Exactly. Now, a good mobile app is also going to, if for some reason you are out of phone coverage, you've lost phone coverage for some reason, it's going to go into, and what AccessCare calls this is offline mode, and they're still going to be able to do their work on the mobile app, and the next time they come back into coverage, it's going to report to the system. So we've tried to think of several different ways to protect the home care owner, and to be able to make sure that we're getting all of that recorded and in the proper time and in the proper place.
So one of the areas that I have seen in my years, and most recently, is the systems that are having that challenge in interfacing sometimes with the third-party vendor. Some states we know are more difficult than others. So what is it that AccessCare or the tech world, how are we going to combat that? Again, all part of trying to optimize, automate, and really use systems to our advantage. How are we going to get over that?
Right. Well, and Yvette, if you're specifically talking about the whole new world that we're in now with the 21st Century Cures Act and the federal government requiring EVV, electronic visit verification, every state has been able to make their own decision about how electronic visit verification is going to be authenticated. And so AccessCare, we have worked very, very hard, many hours. Our technical team has done an amazing job at being able to report EVV, or electronic visit verification, in every state that we're able to do that in. We have built integrations with the particular aggregators that each state has required. In the states where we're open to be that third-party vendor to report the EVV, we have built all of those, and then we're working very hard on many states, or several states, have unfortunately come to the game very, very late, and some have still not decided who their aggregator is going to be for that EVV reporting. And then a few states have just said, we're a closed state, no third-party vendors. You have to use our system for EVV. Right.
So can you elaborate on those states in question that are totally closed down? I know South Carolina because I'm in South Carolina. But what are the states, Kely, that are really closed down from the EVV and that authentication process?
South Carolina is one that's difficult. Mississippi, Texas, and a few others like that. Now, surprisingly, we have quite a few customers even in those states, and even if they are doing Medicaid clients and they have to do EVV reporting, surprisingly, they're still using AccessCare because AccessCare makes the rest of the management of their agency very easy still. But in those states, the caregivers are going to have to clock in. If you're not using solely that aggregator's software, then you're going to have to clock in 2 different times in those states. Once on the AccessCare app and then once on the state mandated aggregators app. And so we do have a lot of people doing that. It's still a very quick process. I mean, people use apps all the time, and they can use about 17 apps at the same time in our world these days.
Right.
That is the process. But hopefully, in those states, many agencies will continue to go to the Medicaid department in those states and lobby and just say, we want to be able to use our own third-party vendors. So that the state can be opened up more. And we have seen that be a little bit successful in some states with lobbying there. Yeah.
Well, if you want to go lobby in South Carolina, you've got my vote.
Exactly.
Okay. Just let me know when you're going.
Great. Well, we do have some South Carolina agencies who do both of those, the duplicate clocking in and clocking out.
It could be a nightmare.
Yeah. Certainly.
It can be. So, Kely, we're going to wrap it up, but I do have a question just to close out this evening, and that is, we have a lot of our members, thinking about home care systems. It can be overwhelming. It could be very, very intimidating.
Yeah.
Can we just speak very briefly about, how the process works? If somebody says, you know what, Kely, I'd like to look at AccessCare. I'd like to see what it does, how it integrates. And is this something that I can actually work with? How do we go about starting that process?
Yeah, well, I would love to be put in contact. Anyone can contact me through Yvette and Home Care Business Advisors. We have a wonderful working relationship, and Yvette connects me continually with people who they watch a live demo with me. They ask me questions personally about the AccessCare system. I show them on my computer screen how everything works, and I answer specific questions that way, and we can set that up easily at any time. I would also say that if you'll go to Software Advice or you'll go to Capterra, those software systems or those websites have comparison tools where you can put 2 to 3 or 4 software systems next to each other on the screen, and they will compare and show you how many reviews and show you different reviews, different aspects of those softwares. And AccessCare always comes out looking really nice when you do those comparisons. Just to put a little plug in for the company there.
Wonderful. Hey, look, systems are needed. We need to use them in the best ways possible. We need to allow them to do the things that we don't have to do manually. You know, it's the area and it's the phenomenon that we have got to consider for the next, 10, 15 years and past that. So I'll be out of it. I'll be retired by then, but I'll be sitting on the sideline. But most definitely systems, technology is the way to go, guys. The information is here from Kely and his team at AccessCare. Please feel free to reach out, get yourself educated, get yourself some knowledge, get yourself a preview of what is out there right now for you to use in your market and into your operations. So Kely, my love, I thank you so very much for being here with us today, answering all of those questions. We're going to hope to hear and see you again soon.
Okay.
But in the meantime, you take care.
Thank
we'll
you.
see you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you very much. Give me a
Bye-bye.
call if you want to. Love to help anytime I can. Thank
Thumbs
you.
up. All right. Bye-bye.